Dr. Sarah Chen and Ambassador Lasara had been partners for 2 years, a relationship that began when they worked together on coalition medical research and evolved into something neither expected, but both chose despite knowing it would be controversial. Sarah was a human xenobiologist studying cross-species compatibility. Liz was a Silmuri diplomat working on integration policies. Their relationship was professional turned personal, built on mutual respect, shared values, and genuine love transcending their biological differences. The problem was that the Silmuri collective, Liz's home civilization, had strict laws against cross-species romantic relationships. Not informal taboos or social disapproval, but actual legal prohibitions rooted in thousands of years of cultural tradition maintaining genetic and cultural purity. The Silmuri were ancient and powerful, distinctive pointed ears, skin shifting through iridescent colors. Their civilization was built on preserving their distinct identity through preventing contamination via relationships with other species. Cross-species marriages were void. Children from such unions were denied citizenship. And Silmuri who engaged in these relationships faced legal consequences: loss of citizenship to forced rehabilitation designed to eliminate their deviant attachments. Sarah and Liz had been careful, maintaining professional distance in public, keeping their relationship private. Liz's diplomatic career, her citizenship, her relationship with her family, all depended on keeping their love secret. But secrets don't keep forever. A political rival, seeking to damage Liz's influence in coalition negotiations, exposed the relationship publicly. Evidence that Ambassador Lasara had been in romantic relationship with a human scientist for 2 years, violating fundamental Silmuri cultural laws. The revelation created immediate crisis. The Silmuri collective demanded Liz return home to face legal proceedings. Conservative factions called for her immediate removal and prosecution. Even progressive Silmuri who privately questioned these laws publicly distanced themselves. Sarah watched as Liz faced the choice their relationship always threatened: renounce Sarah and return to Silmuri society, or refuse and lose everything: citizenship, career, family, her entire world. Liz was given 1 week to respond. During that week, everyone had advice. Coalition officials suggested she comply to preserve diplomatic relationships. Her family sent private messages begging her to end the relationship, return home, accept rehabilitation that would let her resume her life without the inappropriate attachment. Even Sarah told Liz she wouldn't hold it against her if she chose to comply. "I love you, but I also know what you'd be giving up. Your career, your citizenship, your family, everything that's defined your life. If you need to go back, if you need to accept their rehabilitation, I'll understand." Liz's skin shifted through profound conflict. "You'd understand if I chose my civilization over you. If I let them erase my feelings because keeping you means losing everything else." "I'd hate it," Sarah admitted. "But yes, I'd understand, because you didn't choose to fall in love knowing you'd lose everything. You chose me thinking we could keep it private. But we can't keep it private anymore," Liz said, her skin showing determination mixed with fear. "It's public now, and I have to choose, publicly, whether my love for you matters more than my citizenship, my career, everything I've built." She was quiet. "Do you know what terrifies me most? Not losing citizenship or career. What terrifies me is the rehabilitation, psychological conditioning that would erase my feelings for you. They don't demand I just end the relationship. They demand I stop loving you, stop being capable of loving you." Sarah understood the full horror, not just external consequences, but forced alteration of internal emotional reality. "Then don't go back," Sarah said. "Stay here, lose your citizenship if you have to, but stay yourself. And let everyone say that love across species requires abandoning your own people." Liz challenged. "Let hardline factions use my choice as proof that integration destroys cultural identity. Become the cautionary tale they use to justify these laws." On the final day before required response, Liz held a public press conference, not to announce compliance or resignation, but to directly challenge the Silmuri Collective's cultural purity laws. "I am Ambassador Lasara of the Silmuri Collective, and I am in love with Dr. Sarah Chen, a human scientist. This relationship violates Silmuri cultural purity laws. I have been ordered to return home for prosecution and rehabilitation that would forcibly eliminate my capacity to love Sarah. She paused. I am refusing that order, not because I don't value my Silmarie identity, but because I refuse to accept that my identity requires me to sacrifice the person I love and my capacity to love freely. The Silmarie Collective's laws are presented as protecting our culture, but what they actually protect is fear. Fear that knowing and loving other species will reveal that our supposed superiority is just comfortable isolation. Her skin shifted to broadcast her message. I love Sarah not despite being Silmarie, but while being Silmarie. My love doesn't erase my cultural identity, it expands it. And I refuse to return to a society that demands I choose between being Silmarie and being someone capable of genuine connection simply because they're from a different species. The reaction was immediate. Conservative Silmarie factions denounced her as traitor. The Silmarie Collective formally stripped her citizenship and declared her exile permanent. But something else happened that neither Lys nor the collective anticipated. Other Silmarie and cross-species relationships began coming forward publicly. Dozens who'd been hiding for years, decades, each citing Lys's defiance as catalyst. If the ambassador can refuse to hide, maybe they can too. What followed wasn't immediate revolutionary change, but it was the beginning of something the collective couldn't completely suppress. Visible evidence that cross-species love wasn't rare aberration, but something enough Silmarie experienced that criminalizing it meant criminalizing significant portion of their own people. The Silmarie Collective tried to maintain their position. These individuals were all exiles, all warnings about what integration costs. But younger Silmarie began questioning whether laws preventing genuine connection actually served their civilization or just served comfortable isolation. 3 years after Lys's defiance, the Silmarie Collective faced internal pressure from younger generations who'd watched exiles build successful lives, watched cross-species relationships prove stable and genuine. The laws didn't change immediately, but exceptions began appearing. Cultural exchange partnerships that were obviously romantic relationships with legal cover, quiet acceptance of close personal friendships, gradual erosion of enforcement. Lys and Sarah built a life together without Silmarie citizenship or official sanction. Sarah continued her research. Lys worked as independent consultant on integration policies, her exile status giving her perspective on what forcing cultural isolation actually costs. 5 years after public defiance, when reporters asked if Lys regretted her decision, she gave her honest answer. I regret that loving Sarah required losing citizenship, career, family relationships. I regret that the Silmarie Collective forced me to choose. But I don't regret choosing Sarah over compliance with laws designed to prevent genuine connection. Those laws claimed to protect Silmarie identity, but what they actually protected was fear. Her skin showed contentment. Shattered limits sounds dramatic, but the truth is more mundane. I refused to let my government dictate who I could love. That refusal created visibility for others. And that visibility has slowly forced my civilization to acknowledge that criminalizing cross-species love means criminalizing their own people. The limits aren't shattered, but they're cracking. Sarah said, Lys lost everything to be with me. But she gained freedom to be herself without forcing her feelings to conform to laws written in fear. Our relationship isn't special, it's just two people who love each other. The revolutionary part was Lys refusing to hide when her civilization demanded she either erase it or lose everything. Because they'd learned that some limits exist to maintain comfortable fictions rather than serve actual needs. That refusing to comply with unjust laws requires losing everything, but creates space for others to question whether those laws serve their stated purposes. And that sometimes love isn't about choosing between two worlds. It's about refusing to accept that loving someone should require sacrificing everything else. Lys shattered the limits not through violence or revolution,